Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and tell me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk. This is episode 2 of season 10 of Big Nate Sports Talk. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I would like to say up front. All the episodes for season 9 will be uploaded today after I'm done with this episode, so we'll be caught up. Episode 3 for the Washington Mystics versus Seattle Storm Game 1 recap. That'll happen after the game because game time is 10 p.m. tomorrow, our time, and 7 p.m. on the West Coast. They're actually in Seattle today. They have a post-media practice call. That's not until 6. This weekend, the Ravens play. The Arizona Cardinals will be tuned in for that. Cameron, what's up? I appreciate you. Thank you. What's going on, bro? I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate all the new subscribers to the channel. Big Nate Sports Talk really does appreciate you. This is where you can get all your sports news, college basketball, men and women's, college football, basketball, football, baseball, even WNBA. This is the place to get your sports news and sports takes. So really do welcome those that have subscribed to the channel. It's much appreciated. In this episode, I have a very special guest. He is all the way on the West Coast. He's in Seattle. We have touched base. We've talked a bit on Twitter. Really great writer for the Seattle Lead. That's part of the W Lead writing. And he is a Seattle Storm fan. And he's going to come on here. We're going to chop it up, talk about the series and what to expect. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Brenden Potts to Big Nate Sports Talk. Brenden, welcome to Big Nate Sports Talk. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week. Thank you for taking the time and joining me. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
It's a beautiful Wednesday. Tell the people about yourself. Let the people know who you are.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm a contributing writer for the Lead. I just got the opportunity this summer, and it's been amazing. I've put out I think we're up to 15 pieces right now. Got another one coming up tomorrow before the game. I've been a WNBA fan for about 3 seasons now. That's my 3rd season. I've been a basketball fan for even longer. I've been a huge NBA fan. And the biggest opportunity to get into the WNBA was the wobble and the COVID season. And I got into the WNBA. Then it was all about picking the team, and I went local and chose Seattle. And I'm a big Breanna Stewart fan. So the pieces kind of were put together. So it was guess a match made in heaven, really, to start.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Really quick, just talk about, what do you how did you feel about the Seattle Storm this season? Um, and what do you think? How do you feel that this was Sue Bird's last year?
Yeah, I mean the Storm this season, you kind of forget that they had the biggest problems with COVID early on.
Yep.
I think we're at the top of the list in terms of dealing with the most COVID cases.
Mhm.
We lost a lot of our most of our starters this season due to COVID at one point, and I think there are multiple games where we're starting to hit our stride, and then we kind of fall flat, whether it's against uh, a better team or better teams that only play against us and bad against other teams. But shout out to Connecticut. But yeah, but no, I'm very I think the fourth seed is a good spot for us. It keeps us under the radar, and I think that's going to be really big for how contending we are.
Did you ever suspect at the beginning of the season that the fourth seed and the fifth seed would have been Washington and Seattle?
Um, not really. I mean, this season has been crazy. I didn't think Vegas would be this good right off the bat, and then they just kind of fell off for a little bit. And then
Mhm.
I definitely didn't think Chicago would be this good. Um,
Who are you kidding?
yeah, right.
I still can believe
But
when I saw they clinched the playoffs first, I said, "Damn it!"
yeah. Hey, as a Storm fan, I'm just like, hey, we clinched the playoffs first last season. That don't mean shit.
Good point. That's fair. That's a fair point. So we already know this. We already know the history with the Washington Mystics and the Seattle Storm. I think this has to make it being probably the best first round series. It's a fun fact. The last time we actually saw you guys was actually in the finals 2018. Uh,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and we unfortunately you guys swept us because Deladon got
Mm-hmm.
hurt, Taylor Hill got hurt, and that was actually the year. Next year, we actually got Aerial Powers and Latoya Saunders and everything. So that year, you guys, I still haven't gotten over that 2018 season, but this season, I'll be honest, it's actually been a good season for both teams. You guys have beaten us twice in the
Yeah.
regular season series, and I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts on how do you think. Well, first of all, I'll start with myself. So the Washington Mystics, for the most part, kind of in the same boat like Seattle, but not from terms of health and safety protocols. From the standpoint of, we didn't have Lena Deladon. She wasn't playing regularly. She was on a scheduled date rest, had her certain rest games. Alicia Clark didn't play at the beginning of the season. You also had some COVID issues. Natasha Cloud at one point was on health and safety protocols. Then you also are dealing with in configuring the starting lineup. Shakira Austin at one point was coming off the bench because it was Maisha Hines Allen and you had Kennedy Burke. A lot of moving pieces. But I'm curious to get your thoughts, Brenden, on who are the players in this series do you think we should be looking at other than Brianna Stewart and Elena Deladon? Who do you think else can be the X factor for the Storm? For the Storm.
Yeah, first of all, I think this matchup, if you like WNBA basketball, if you like basketball, period, like us or unlike us, you're not rooting for either team. This is the matchup to watch, and because they're so even. I think like Rams do those things where they like butt heads and they do it for fun. That's exactly what's going to happen in 3 games. So that's first off. And getting into it with the matchups, it's a very similar take. Like for me, it's I'm excited to watch Gabby Williams and Alicia Clark. They're very similar in their defensive role with the team. This is also going to be a defensive battle. Um, the Storm get so much praise for their offense, but it's because they're so good on with their defense, and their defensive schemes and how they run. But yeah, Gabby Williams for me. Ezzie Magagor is another one. I think she's going to be very lethal coming off the bench, and I think one of the difference makers that I came up with it in this series, because it's going to be so close, is the offensive game of Tina Charles. I think that's going to be the difference maker, and I think that's the biggest one I've seen from the last couple of games heading into the postseason. So we'll see. It's going to be a great matchup. I'm super excited.
Now, just the piggyback on Tina Charles, how did you feel about the signing of Tina for you covering the Seattle Storm?
Yeah. So I actually wrote about the signing promptly after she actually signed. It came out I believe the day after she signed. But no, hey, she wants to win a championship. If it's not evident right now, then you haven't been watching. And it's one of those things where I'm fine with it. I'm come to Seattle. We need more depth. But no, she's been it's a funny story. Like, first couple of days after she signs, like, oh, she's ring chasing. But when you actually watch her in her role with the Storm, they've needed her, and they've needed her, and she needs us. I never want to Noel Quinn, if you're watching, I doubt it, but I never want to see Jantel Lavender in a game ever again, please. Because and I think that's one of the reasons why we got Tina Charles. Listen, Jantel is good for blowouts, nothing more. I'm just like, but no, Tina Charles has been great for us. She's basically played with all of her old teammates at Team USA on the Storm, so that team chemistry really helps. And I think that's one reason why she was put into the starting lineup.
Also, too, you keep in mind, you guys have not had Mercedes Russell the whole season.
Yeah,
which has been I have been praying for Mercedes Russell. I know she's been dealing with a headache syndrome for most of the season, so I really hope she's doing well. I think that's also too what the Storm have missed, because she was, if you remember, she was also an AU, so it was great to see her there. But it's been really different not seeing her out there on the floor. So I hope she is doing well. Hope she gets well soon, and don't rush back. Basketball, health is more important than the game of basketball. So
yeah, for sure. Wish Sadie's all the best.
Yes, absolutely. For the Washington Mystics, other than Elena Deladon, I need the others to step up. I need Alicia Clark. I need Ariel Atkins. I need Taj Cloud. I need the bench. Elena Deladon can score 25 a game all she wants to, but the offense around her has to step it up. Ariel Atkins can, to me, the big three, Tosh, Ariel, and Elena, that's her big three. But we all know Alicia Clark is more of a defensive forward first, then shoots the three. I've just been disappointed. The bench also, too, has to be the key for this series. When I watched them play Las Vegas, for example, they scored 20 points as a bench. I think if you get 20 or more points from the Washington Mystics off the bench, whether it's Maisha, whether it's Shatoi Walker-Kimbrell, Tiana Hawkins, Rory Machida is not a shooter, and that's a liability, especially come playoff time. So my X factor is the others. The others around Elena Deladon must play well, or it's going to be a long series in this series. Now, my question to you, Brenden, is what do you think the keys are if you're Seattle to beat Washington?
Yeah, I think this matchup's going to be so close. So just have that veteran. I think the veteran presence around this team is going to help. And you could say the same for Washington. Like I've said, they're very, very similar in how their rosters are built and how their game plans are. But I think these individual players, like it's going to be hard to choose the different X factors that you need to have. You need to take care of the rebounding for sure. Like offensive rebounding has been a big struggle for us, and I think we have one of the you were talking about the bench. I think we have one of the worst bench units in the league, which is very unfortunate. So just keeping for the bench, just keep the starters work like somewhat intact. Like you don't have to give up the game completely. That's how we've lost a lot of our games this year. It's just when the bench is put in, we've just plummeted and just done horribly. I think that's why that's another reason why Tina Charles was added in midseason. But yeah, you're not gonna. I don't know if we're gonna out rebound you guys, but no, just try and win the offensive battle. Get second chance points, and so that's been a really big struggle in our losses.
I agree with that. I guess I look at it from this perspective. I mean, we're both, and you can agree to this. Both teams as defense, we're both arguably the best defenses in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But offensively, we can, for some reason, we've been very mildly inconsistent. I think the play styles are two totally different. That's going to be that's one key. You guys, the Seattle Storm, you guys love to push the pace, while we don't like the pace. Right, it's like 2 possessions meant like less than what the league is. So according to what the stats say, we're the 8th worst offense in the league, but it's just 2 possessions at a minimum, which is weird. But again, we've shown that a team like Las Vegas, we've had success against stopping their break. So the key is obviously continue guys in the fast break, but also too, I've noticed, and this is going to concern, it's the offense. I've historically, for some reason, in WNBA playoffs, if you don't have a consistent offense, it's going to be a short series. And with this format, I'm hoping that there's things that, and even this time to practice, we have an opportunity to figure some things on the offense. Now, other than Brianna Stewart, okay, Brenden might hate me for this. Jewel Lloyd is going to be the key defensively, because the backcourt, you've got 2 all-defensive first-teamers. That's Natasha Cloud and Ariel Atkins. I'm really curious to see who's going to be guarding her. Most likely it'll be Ariel. I can definitely see at some point this series it getting to a point where they might fatigue set in, because especially if it's Jewel and Ariel, they're just going to go at each other like there's no tomorrow. And Brenden can definitely agree with me on that. From watching Jewel, especially the 2 times when they were here in DC, she's the second leading scorer for Seattle, and at times she's very inconsistent, particularly from shooting from 3. And again, it's interesting. I looked at this stat. You guys are 14-6 when she scores 15 or more points, but you're 500 when she scores 15 or less. That is interesting. Those are my keys for the Washington Mystics to win this year, to beating the Seattle Storm. The biggest question mark is also is the half court offense. In the half court, you have to succeed, or for the Mystics, or it's going to be a long series against Seattle. What would you say on that?
Yeah, for sure. I think you nailed it right on the head. I have Ariel Atkins guarding Jewel Lloyd as well. I think I haven't really watched too much of the Mystics this year, except when they played the Storm, and I watched them on the back-to-back, brilliantly scheduled by the WNBA, by the way. Fantastic. But no, when Ariel Atkins defends, I'm like really impressed with her, and I was like, okay, she's gonna be a problem if we're matched up. But when I just have to say this right now, because Natasha Cloud put on her Twitter that she should be all defensive first team, and then Jewel Lloyd kicked her ass in the next 2 games. So I'm just saying, like, if Jewel Lloyd can kick your ass, then yeah, I'd focus on walking the walk instead of talking the talk. I get it though.
He does have a good point, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Jewel Lloyd definitely responded. I saw that in the weekend series. Thank you for painfully bringing that up, Brenden. I appreciate it. I'm just also too. I'm curious to see how Elena's going to look in this because she's had the extended break, she's had the rest days. It's definitely going to be key when Elena's healthy. And unfortunately, watching the Mystics the last 2 games playing a team that's practically playing for nothing, and that was the Indiana Fever. It looked like Elena Deladon looked like the Elena Deladon we've been wanting to see all season. Unfortunately, I do not see her getting any awards. If anything, she may get an all NBA team. I doubt it. But she's still one of the best players in the league. Now, I think a lot of people are going to say, well, with her back, can she handle the rigors of the playoffs? And unfortunately, we're at a point where she can't rest. I mean, I really think that in 7 days there'll be 3 games. Lovely scheduling by the WNBA again. But I also too think that makes the Mystics a dark horse to win this series. Because if you think about it, the 2-1 format is going to make a big difference. I think people are looking at it like, well, like for example, Las Vegas and Phoenix. Well, the AC has to be in Las Vegas for 2 games. If you steal one, you go back to your home court for game 3. So it's going to be an advantage for whoever it is. And I'm really feeling like the Washington Mystics are going to steal one. It's definitely going to come down to offense down the stretch. Other than Elena Deladon, someone else has got to step up offensively. Defensively, we've got to hold Jewel Lloyd under 15 points at most. Brianna Stewart and Tina Charles, Shakira Austin has shown she can hold her own weight in that series. And also the bench is key. I think the Washington Mystics can take it to 3 games. Brenden, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this series is gonna go 3 games. And let's say I picked Seattle in 2. That doesn't mean it's gonna be a bad 2 games, like a bad blowout 2 games. Like they could be really competitive. So saying Seattle in 2 doesn't mean necessarily like, oh, they swept them out of the building. I think that term is so misused sometimes. But I think something you didn't hit on that I believe I saw earlier today was a key for the Mystics is Alicia Clark. And she played for us for I believe 9 seasons. Love Alicia and miss Alicia. Please come back to Seattle. But she something Sue Bird folk or talked about was in her media availability was she knows the terms, she knows the concepts that Seattle runs. So whenever a play is called or something like that, she knows the defensive scheme to defend that to the best of their ability. So I think that's going to be a another key. Don't know how big it will be, but that's something that's an advantage that Alicia Clark brings to the Mystics. Besides her amazing defensive ability.
I definitely agree with that. Even though I did hear that shouldn't be that shouldn't really be the focus. I mean, the focus is we're still going to have to go out there. We're still going to have to win the series. We're going to go out there and try to win the game. Just because you played for the team, that doesn't mean they're going to think one step, two, three steps ahead of us.
Yeah.
But I definitely do agree that definitely is an advantage. But even though, I mean, if you look, the first time we saw you guys was on that West Coast trip, I think we were just tired. I mean, again, the 36 games we've all played, the scheduling has just been very, excuse my language, just shitty. Like, you have a back on the road, and then you got like a day, and then go like, I think we had played the most games in just that first half of the season. It was ridiculous. But the weekend series, it just came down to just possessions, not making shots. And I think that's what it's going to come down. It's going to come down to a game of possessions. And just let me know, like, what do you think game one will look like? How do you think? Well, we all know the atmosphere, because the atmosphere that went for Subaru's last home game was astounding. But what do you think that hiding the crowd and the atmosphere is going to play a factor into this series for the first two games?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Sue's final home game. I was fortunate enough to go. That was amazing. I felt like that was more of an event than a game, just because of everything that happened. But yeah, this is Sue Bird's last playoff run. It's gonna be sold out. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It's gonna be sold out. It's gonna be electric, and it's gonna be amazing. And I hope that that Alicia Clark gets a nice ovation to back to Seattle. And yeah, it's gonna be emotional. I think it's gonna be emotional for the first quarter, first half, in terms of like, we're in the playoffs, we're here, this is playoff basketball. And then second half, or second through fourth quarter, we're gonna play playoff basketball.
I agree with that. Go ahead and give your game one prediction.
Oh, I got Seattle. Come on, man. Come on. I got Seattle. I think I'm excited to see this series though. It's gonna be very, very fun. One thing that I'm sorry, not one thing, but something that Coach Quinn says a lot in the press conferences, when these types of things happen, whether it's back-to-backs or 2 games in 3 days against the same team in the same arena, is it's like a chess match.
Yes.
And you're doing this move to find out what this move is, and then you're reacting on this move. So she said that theme a lot this season, and I think that was in preparation for the playoffs. So we'll see if that's true. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to bring up from the coach.
I agree with that. It's definitely. I think she said it after the first game in DC. I remember saying, "Yep, yeah, I definitely agree. It is a game of chess." So I am curious to see how it's going to be like first 2 games in Seattle. It's probably going to be the same thing. Now, the Seattle Storm, do they have a post practice media call today? I know the Mystics do.
I believe so. It's with a couple of the players. I think one of them's Tina Charles. I can't remember. Yesterday was with Gabby and Sue. I think today is with Tina Charles and Ezzy Magbagor. I might be wrong on, but definitely Tina Charles.
Now, what are those media calls been like for you this season so far?
Yeah, they've been so fun. These players are really fun to talk to. I think the funniest person I've talked to is Brianna Stewart, easily. She's very goofy, and she's very opposite of what you would think a star of her caliber is. She's very, like, completely opposite. But so I call Brianna Stewart the funniest person I've talked to. The funnest person I've talked to is Ezzy Magbagor. she's very nice. She's very she has a good basketball mind. Can't go wrong with an Australian accent. And Also, you one of the things I picked up very quickly when I was a WNBA fan was uh, watching Sue Bird, but hear her speak. Like hear Sue Bird talk in an interview. It doesn't even have to be a press conference. Watch an interview. Watch a video of Sue Bird. She's so intelligent about the game of basketball, and I think that's something that goes out of your head when you think of women and basketball and the WNBA and women's college basketball is these guys just put a ball in a hoop, and maybe they're good. They're not as good as NBA players. That's your own opinion, but
Yep.
no. But going back to the subject of Sue Bird, like listen to her speak, and she's so intelligent about the game. That's one of the things I picked up very quickly.
I definitely agree. She definitely speaks elegantly.
Mhm.
I didn't get a chance to see when her wife won the medal for presidential medal. I didn't see that. Didn't get an opportunity to watch that. For me, it's actually been fun for the Mystics media calls. Coach T actually laid on my ass one post game. I was after the Sparks, and I asked him. He said it actually Friday. He said he publicly doesn't like to praise other coaches, and so the question I asked him was like, "Can you tell me the difference with a Fred Williams team versus a Derek Fisher's team?" Look like he just was like, "I don't praise players. I only talk about my team." And he had this attitude. His left eye, I promise you, Brenden, it twitched twice, and I was like, I just asked, like, what was the message at halftime, and I turned the ball over. And I just like, thank you, coach. I appreciate it. I muted the mic so quick. But no, it's been fun. Probably
Yeah.
the only players I have not spoken to is Natasha Cloud. I'm not going to get a chance to ask her a question. Tiana Hawkins, Rory Machida, Jasmine Jones was just recently added to the roster. But everybody else, and Alicia Clark, everybody else, I was actually starstruck. It was after they played Atlanta, and it was Maisha Hines Allen and Elena Deladon in the post game. And the PR person was like, we only got time for 2 more questions. So one to me and one to this other reporter who's in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, okay, so now that you guys are now done, you've played the most games. Like, what are some of the things you guys are going to be doing to mentally unwind, from this game now that that's not basketball? Maisha was like, I'm chilling, I'm bitching. And I didn't expect Elena to ask, and then Elena just goes, yeah, I'm going to take this time to just get back to work, get in the gym. And I'm like,
That's funny.
Elena Deladon asked my question. I literally, once the meeting, I literally was starstruck. I said, Elena Deladon answered my question.
So you brought up a funny like a media fail. So I have one with Breanna Stewart. So the first time I talked to Breanna Stewart, I asked believe it was after a win. It was the first time I talked to her. I said, what do you think, or what do you think you could be or you could have done differently in this win? Or she had like 28, 29 points. She did really well. I was like, what was one of the things you could have done differently? And she goes, I think I could have rebounded. I think I could have rebounded better. She had 3 rebounds on the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's actually very interesting. So that was after post practice. So next day they had a game. They won. She did really good, and she she got 7 rebounds. So technically she doubled her rebounds. So I said, so I came out and I said, this is what I believe Jewel Lloyd and Ezzy McMagor were there. So I go, what do you how do you feel like after you doubled your rebounds? And and how do you like improve that, like keep it consistent? And she goes, well, I don't take it as a compliment that I double my rebounds or like doubling my rebounds from 3 to 7. Like, I'm like, oh boy, my favorite player just roasted my ass. So the funny part of that is the next post practice availability, I go, or no, I'm sorry, this was after a game. I go, she had 11 rebounds after that game, and she had like close to 30 points. I go, hey, I asked Jewel Lloyd a question because she was also there, and I said, and I have a fun question for Stewie. Do you like your rebounding numbers now? And she goes, yeah, finally. I laughed so hard.
Oh goodness. That's a good one. Actually, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Let me reiterate. I asked Tiana Hawkins. That was it was a media day because after she
yeah.
had AU. The funniest one, Baisha Hines Allen's the funniest. She's definitely the funniest. Actually, yesterday they were heading to the airport to go to Seattle,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking she's at the Entertainment Sports and Arena Center. So I see on the Zoom it says Zoom user. I'm like, what the heck is this? And the PR person goes, Maisha, is that you? She's literally in the car.
Yeah. Sue
Wow,
Bird's
on
done that.
Zoom. And I'm like, wait, all you guys like, why are you driving? I'm in my mind like, why are you driving and on Zoom at the same time? But so I asked her
Maisha
a
Hines
question.
Allen was driving?
Yeah, she was driving to the airport on Zoom. So I'm like, okay. I asked her a question. I said, I was basically because around this time, like, who was that player? And I'm pretty sure you'll ask this too. Like, who was that player or that coach? At times like especially like when you're in college or even the pros, like to get you going, like to get you to where you are as the player you are today. And she talked about a couple of coaches at Louisville because when she was a senior, that was her only year she got to the Final Four. And I asked another question and sent a question like that. She said Latoya Saunders, and then because she had some vets when she came in. And as soon as I said, okay, well, but you should drive safe, have a safe flight to Seattle, and then she goes, oh, now you want to say drive safe? I laughed.
Oh my
Another one,
gosh.
another one was Avina Westbrook because she played for you
Yeah,
guys too. Um,
she didn't play with
I had
us. She was
asked her
drafted.
two questions, drafted, but um,
Yeah. She didn't make the
I
team. I
I
wish.
asked. Oh, that's right, she didn't make it, but
Yeah.
I asked her. I said, you drafted by Seattle, Coach Quid, Brianna Stewart, Sue Bird, and he went to Minnesota for a little bit. Talked about those teams have impacted you so far as a rookie. And I said, you're not playing basketball. What are some things you like to do outside of basketball? And then she goes, I'm a very big dessert person. And
Yeah.
she says chocolate cake. And you hear the PR guy laughing on Zoom. So yeah, that's probably been the funnest. But the three you should never have together in a post game is Natasha Cloud, Maisha Hines Allen, and Shakira Austin. Those three, they are a riot. Because after the Vegas win, they just I'll have to send it to you. They were something else. They
I feel
definitely took
so
over the
bad
post game.
for I feel so bad for Vegas reporters because those girls are just, oh my, they're completely opposites on like both sides of the, or like on and off court. Like they're completely focused and serious on the court. Then they're complete opposite. They're
So,
funny. They're Asia Wilson's a glorified teenager. I swear.
Asia's good peoples. I mean, you gotta have some labs, after a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man, I'm telling you, it's been one fun season. This is
Yeah, it
actually my
has.
first season being on the Zooms with the Mystics.
Yeah, mine
Um,
too. For the
so
storm, yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been fun. It's definitely. But what got you interested? That's going to be my next question. What got you interested in writing for just the W and writing for the Seattle Storm?
Yeah, so it's actually a funny story. I had followed a Twitter account called Storm Chasers. Shout out to Jeff.
Okay.
And he retweeted a tweet by the lead, the main account, and it was a tweet saying we're looking for contributors for all of our WNBA teams. This is back in May, like right before the season started. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was around that time. And so I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And I originally applied for a social media position, and I was like, social media is I really like social media and being on Twitter and managing my own account. So I'll do social media, and the other positions were writing and podcasting. And so I applied, and I talked to the guy for about a week and a half, and it was different things like, what are you going to do for this channel? How are you going to help? How are you going to help the Storm channel? All that stuff. So he eventually said, we're going to go in another direction for social media, but we wanted to reach out to you about article writing. And I'm like, oh, okay. I've never done that before, but is there I'm willing to do that. Is there a way that I could be coached and taught how to do this? Because I haven't done this before. So they're like, yeah, we can do that. We can teach you and guide you. So I've had a lot of good and supportive people that, yeah, have given me criticism over these pieces, but it's constructive criticism, and it's
Yep.
helping me become a greater writer. And they've actually like complimented me these last 3 or 4 pieces, saying like, this is what this is like more like it. These are amazing pieces. Great job. And all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a really, really fun summer, and it's been an amazing opportunity for sure.
I like that. That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear. Really quick, just go ahead and give your score, and I'm gonna do a guarantee for you. Your score for Game 1 for the Washington Mystics versus the Seattle Storm.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I'll just go off with the score right on top of my head. I think it's gonna be 92 Seattle to 85 Washington. That's just the score that popped in my head. It's a 7-point game. It's gonna be a great game, but something about the Mystics that I picked up from the last from the back to back. That it was an 8-point game with, I think, like 2 minutes left or something like that. Yeah. And it ended up being a 3-point game. This Seattle team is not going to quit.
Yep.
That's what they've proved all season.
I agree with that. You're guaranteeing that 92 to 85?
Yeah, 92-85. Yep.
Guarantee.
Washington Mystics 89, Seattle Storm 83.
Guarantee.
I can see I see the game being, I see it being around a 7 to 6 point leader deficit. It's going to come it's going to come down to a game of possessions. That's what I think the key is going to be.
Do you did you pick the series yet?
I say the Washington Mystics will win in 3.
In 3, that's a common one. That's a common one. I disagree, but that's a common one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the series is going to go to 3. I just don't see the Mystics going to Seattle twice and looking lackadaisical. I don't see that. I think Washington's going to steal one, and Seattle's going to get the second one, and I think the third one's going to just come down to who's just going to win the game. It's going to come down. This series is literally going. It could come down to literally a game of possessions.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think
for sure.
I feel like Washington can do that because, like you pointed out, Seattle's bench is not top tier. And again, like if you don't, I think it makes a difference when you don't have certain players like Mercedes Russell. So you're going to see like Stephanie Tolbert. You're going to see Jantel Lavender out there. And you got to give them credit. I mean, they do they do give you effort. It's just their bench is not efficient enough, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
I think a big point Noelle Quinn's made over the season. I asked her this at one point in the season. I can't remember, but how do you keep yourself in games? Because that was a big issue for us. Was I talked about it earlier? Was keeping ourselves in games, blowing leads, and the big reason why that happened was because none of the starters were in, and something that Coach Quinn praised and said is we're gonna keep one of the starters in, whether it's Brianna Stewart, Jewel Lloyd, Sue Bird, Gabby Williams, one of those starter, and she also added Ezzie McMcGore in there as well. Now that was before Tina Charles, so hopefully that duo of Ezzie and Tina can stay in there. But it's as long as the Storm don't roll the bench unit without any of the starters in at one point, I think we will be fine. But in terms of like if we have a lead and we're able to hold it, but that's one big thing that we have to look for.
I definitely agree with that. Really quick, I want to get your thoughts on the other 6 teams as this playoff race, this playoff first round. And we probably are going to think alike. The Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury. How are you feeling about that series?
Now, see, I talked about just because it's a bad it's a 2-game sweep doesn't mean it's going to be a bad 2 games. This is going to be a bad 2 games, even though I think Phoenix is going to somewhat compete and surprise some people at least for the first half.
It's good to see you.
So,
I'm sorry for interrupting you, Brenden.
Yeah, no worries. So I think Vegas is obviously the better team. It's one of those things where you just give your applause and you just give your flowers to Phoenix for the kind of season that they've had.
Yes.
You think you've had a bad season. Look at Phoenix. Yeah, Aces in 2.
You know what? I'm going to be honest for Las Vegas. I think they have to win this year.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. More importantly, Asia Wilson has to win this year.
Well, I think Asia, but the team as a whole, because remember, they last time they saw each other was last year in the semifinals.
Yeah.
I mean, that game was decided by a layup. And the way they've come out this year, everything points to them. I have the Aces going to the finals. The Phoenix Mercury, I have to give, like you said, give them their flowers. You know, we have to give Vanessa Nygaard her flowers too. I mean, let's understand, you know, this first time young coach, you're dealing with personalities like Skylar Diggins, Diana Taurasi. The signing of Tina Charles, I've been very vocal on it. It was a weird dynamic, a weird signing. And then also to Brittany Griner, who's been wrongfully detained in Russia. I hope she's doing well. It's been now 181 days, if I'm saying that correctly, since she's been wrongfully detained. And then also too, their bench is not that productive. It's minuscule. I mean, the small ball lineup they've had out there. They have Sophie, Shea Petty, Diamond DeShields was hurt, and then Skylar Diggins will be out game 1, and
so will Diana Taurasi.
And Diana Taurasi, and it's a sweep. But the Las Vegas Aces.
I'm going to reiterate my comments right here, right now. The clock is officially ticking. The honeymoon is over. Damn your feelings. Who gives a damn? You got a job to do. And the job ain't even a championship. It's to be respectable.
They just got to win. It's the Las Vegas Aces. I said it yesterday. It's a sweep. I'm sorry. And Phoenix has the lottery pick too for next year. So, God, it's going to be. I don't see. I don't. I'll be surprised if Phoenix gets a game, but nah. The Aces, yes, Sean, are a favorite to win it all. They are the best team. It's just they've had some lapses in the beginning of going into All-Star break. I think a lot of it started with the defense. I think they've figured it out now, particularly with Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, and Asia Wilson, their offense. I think they figured it out, but it starts with the defense. Next, Chicago versus New York. How are you feeling about this?
Man, I'm so happy and so fortunate that New York made the playoffs because they were my dark horse coming into this season, and for my reputation, I'm so happy they're in the playoffs. But no, for this series, I got Chicago, but I'm taking them in 3. I am a huge fan of Hanju. I am a big fan of Sabrina Ionescu, local Eugene girl. So I gotta represent locally.
Yep.
But I will fully admit, and I will bang the drum on what I'm about to say. I've been on the hype train for Marine Johannes since the Olympics.
Yes.
I saw her play against Team USA. It was Team France, and I was screaming at my TV at 10:30 at night when my parents are asleep. I'm screaming at 10 o'clock at night, cover her, because she reminds me of Steph Curry with her range and her movement off the ball.
Off the ball.
It's incredible. And I actually have a friend who used to work with New York, and I was like, who is this girl? And he told me a little bit about her, and that she's suspended. She is on the suspended list. Dumb term. She's not playing this year. Basically, what that meant.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But this is who she is. So the name came back up when she signed back with the Liberty. Said she was going to play, and I said, watch out for this player. And she has blossomed into what we know. And I said,
Yep.
I told you all.
You know how I know they were going to get into the playoffs? When she came off that screen, and she shot a fadeaway 3. That's how I knew they were going to win the game.
Yeah.
It's over. Johannes can definitely ball. I'm surprised watching them play the Mystics. She can definitely ball. New York was definitely one of my sleepers too. Was just disappointed with the injuries and chemistry, but they've all stayed the course. Remember, Benaj was out for practically the whole season almost.
Yeah.
Dee Richards didn't play for a good chunk of the season. They traded Asia Durr. They traded them to Atlanta. So it's kind of just figuring out where pieces fit. But I have the Chicago Sky winning in 3. I think the New York Liberty are going to steal a game.
Yeah,
I see it.
One of the things that when Seattle beat Chicago in Chicago, we won the season series 2-1, and one of those victories was late, and we just shot the lights out of Chicago. We just couldn't miss. And one of the reasons why I have New York stealing the game is exactly that, because this is a team that can shoot the lights out. They have a bunch of shooters on their team. They are, I believe Hanju is the tallest player on that court. I might be wrong. Yeah. Okay. So they're somewhat longer. For Chicago, I'm sorry. Candace Parker is the biggest crybaby in the league. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous.
I wouldn't say crybaby. I just think that
she's a know-it-all, man.
that's Candace Parker is one of those. She's going to play to the at the start of the whistle, when the whistles to the game, when it starts and when it ends. There have been a lot of questionable calls this year. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of points to some frustration. I think that's why you see Candace and others with those with those kind of reactions, because you kind of go, how's that a foul? How's this a foul?
Yeah.
And Sean has a question: can New York pull off the upset? No, I think they'll steal a game. No,
Really? You don't think so?
No, I think Chicago has veteran experience, and I just they've got championship caliber. I see it. I don't. It has to go completely wrong for Chicago. Like Chicago literally has to have like a 15-point lead, and then they just look like, what's going on? I mean, you practically still have the same team except for a couple pieces, but they have been no. I don't
Can I say something? Can I say something about Chicago that I really like? Kalea Copper. I'm bought in. I'm bought in on Kalea Copper. I am sorry I wasn't before. I did not watch her that much in the finals. Granted, I didn't watch the finals that much, but Kalea Copper, she the way she plays, man, I just really like that type of basketball, and she love Kalea Copper. And Courtney Vandersloot, another local Gonzaga alum. She'll be on the Storm next year. That's another guarantee. Hopefully, we need a point guard. But like you said, veteran leadership. That's gonna be. I think that's gonna be the big difference. And then another reason why I'm happy New York is in the playoffs was when the first thing I said when Sandy Brondello was hired, I said she's going to help Sabrina Ionescu so much, and because she coached the GOAT, Diana Taurasi. So, and I'm a Sue Bird fan. I am very comfortable with saying Diana Taurasi's the GOAT of the WNBA. So, I when she came in, I said this is going to be so big of a hire for Sabrina Ionescu.
Yeah. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. This is probably the second most interesting series. Those Dallas Wings versus the Connecticut Sun. Let's keep in mind they have not won a playoff game since they moved from Tulsa. Connecticut is another team that I want to see in the finals. They've had the unfortunate pleasure the last 3 years of somebody in the starting lineup always getting hurt. If you remember in the bubble, Jonquel Jones sat out, and then Alyssa Thomas got hurt last year, and then Jasmine Thomas tore her ACL this year.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they're going to defend Tierra McCowan. Because Tierra McCowan has just been unstoppable. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't feeling the fact that they had the I don't know, like Arike won't be in the first round of the playoffs.
That's right. I was just gonna ask about Arike. That's right.
She won't be in the first round because of her injury. Now, if she does come back, if they do get in the second round, I do think what has to happen is Arike has to come off the bench. She should not be in that starting lineup. I think she's going to take away the flow from how Dallas is. I think you need to have Ty Harris out there at point guard alongside Marina Mabry, because for some reason Arike and Marina Mabry just don't click. And then Connecticut, they have. I think this is their year to get over the hump. I do. You got to listen.
It has to be. It has to be. You talked about Vegas needing to win. So does Connecticut.
They have to, because I think they spend way too much money. They can't keep being a first, second round exit. They have to get to the finals.
Yeah,
have to. But I see Connecticut winning in 3. I see Dallas stealing a game.
Yeah, I want to. You have no flipping idea how much I want to pick Dallas over Connecticut. This has upset written all over it. I think I think besides Washington over Seattle, technically an upset. I think this is going to be the most popular one. I'm gonna have to pick Connecticut, sadly. But it's gonna be like we talked about for the Mystics and the Storm. This is gonna be a series of possessions.
Yes.
And one of the we were talking about Candace Parker being a crybaby in another series. My second biggest crybaby is Dewana Bonner. It's ridiculous.
I don't think her sister would like to hear that.
It's
No,
ridiculous.
I do agree. Dewana can definitely go like, okay, Dewana, that's a bit much. I can agree to some extent. She does go a little far, but I think that's always kind of been her personality since even in Phoenix. So
Yeah.
I can see that. Really quick. So if you've paid attention yesterday, the Associated Press released their award winners. These are not the official award winners yet for the league.
Yeah.
So today, Monday the 15th, you had the peak performers. On the 19th, this Friday, the Kim Parrott Sportsmanship Award will be announced. On the 22nd, the Executive of the Year will be announced. The 25th, the Rookie of the Year and Rookie All WNBA All Rookie Team will be announced. That Friday, Coach of the Year. The following Monday, on August 29th, the Most Improved Player. And then the September 1st, Thursday, will be Sixth Player of the Year. And then Defensive Player of the Year Friday, an all defensive first and second team. And then September 7th will be the Most Valuable Player announced. And then September 15th, all first and second WNBA team. So those awards have not officially been listed yet. Yes, I appreciate you being here, Jean. Thank you. I could watch y'all all day. Y'all know you said y'all should call a game. Definitely should. Most probably we'll probably link up after the series, recap it.
Yeah.
I think that's something we should definitely link up on.
Oh yeah, for
Even
sure.
if we just did after each game, it's totally up to you. Whatever you want to do. But yes, back to what I was saying. The AP Associated Press had some awards and caused some serious controversy, particularly with the all rookie team. First and foremost, understand this is just where I'm at with it. I think it was a little bit much that Sam Thomas. We should have not. I feel like she was being attacked. It wasn't her. It was it lets me know that these are the votes. They're not watching the games. Because no disrespect, I think it's just weird, mind-boggling that your all rookie team didn't include. You didn't have Queen Enegbo. Sam Thomas has not touched the floor for Phoenix, and it's no disrespect, but that kind of takes away from what she's done. Because I'm just going to just give you the all rookie team. So they had Ryan Howard, Shakira Austin, Rebecca Gardner, Nalissa Smith, Sam Thomas for all rookie team. And I think that's where most of the controversial decision was. And then also too that Skylar Diggins Smith was not all first team. They had her on the all second team. And I think that was really the only two areas I agreed on. I mean, player of the year. I mean, we've had that back and forth with Asia and Brianna. It's going to, I think, it's going to be a close one. But in terms of the all first, second team, and then the all rookie team, those were the two areas I think everybody was up in arms. So, congratulations on them winning. But I would really like to know from the Associated Press, what games were you watching to determine like what are the categories? Because I don't know how to feel about that one.
When talking about the all rookie team, going to that team first, like first four are pretty easy, and then you get the elephant in the room and Sam Thomas. You talked about Queen Akpo not being selected over Sam Thomas, and the Indiana Fever have a lot of rookies on that team, and a lot of rookies that I could probably pick over Sam Thomas, just because of statistical reasons. But so yeah, it's a question, and then or it's a question that you just got to have in like you said, like, do you watch the games? But they obviously don't. And then yeah, Skylar Diggins Smith, she needs to be a lock for first team. Look, you're about to find out the mistake that you made, because the reason why she's going to be out in this series against Vegas, you're about to find out the kind of mistake that you made. So
Well, I'll be hiding under a rock when she comes back. So because I if I had a vote, she was all first team.
yeah.
That's just, it's crazy. I mean, she's put that team literally on. She's put that Phoenix team literally on her back.
Yeah.
And again, I think that lets me know that also too. I think we're taking consideration of, well, how they are in the media and different things like that, and it shouldn't really be about that. If you've watched Skylar Diggins Smith, I mean, first, that really the whole Phoenix team. It's just been a hard season for them, and you got to credit her to where she deserves her flowers for where they're at now, even though she didn't play the last two games. But come on now, all second team.
Yeah, and then I think the big thing for the Breanna Stewart and Asia Wilson thing, like, Aces fans are ridiculous, man. Oh my gosh. It's just like it, and then Storm fans are like ridiculous, right? It's just complete back and forth banter, like a rivalry should have.
Right.
We know these are the best two players in the league, and it's a matter of someone said it on my Twitter, like, first couple of weeks of the season. Is this going to be another Embiid and Jokic thing going on? Yes, it is. Yeah, it's pretty. Welcome to the WNBA. This is pretty much what you're going to get. Yeah, but you talked about like how hard of a season it is for Phoenix and Skylar Diggins Smith. One of her viral press conference answers after the Brittany Griner hearing really puts it into perspective.
Yes.
It really puts what they're going through into perspective, and it's very I don't want to say ironic, but it's very or fortunate either that Skylar Diggins Smith said that answer as opposed to Sophie Cunningham or Vanessa Nygaard or whoever. It puts it all into perspective, and you're right. She literally put that team on her back, and she would not. You're about to find out how important Skylar Diggins Smith is in this series when the Aces just rout him out of the building.
I agree. But I hope Skylar is doing okay. I hope she is doing well.
Yeah.
But this definitely is an interesting first round. But for the other four teams, I did mention that yesterday in the episode, the non-playoff teams, we're not going to talk about that. You want to see the previous episode, check out yesterday's episode. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude episode 2 of the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. Like I said, I have the Washington Mystics versus Seattle Storm recap. Brenden, let's link up after if you want to hop on and we can talk about the game from the Seattle perspective and Washington perspective. Let's do that for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
The Washington Mystics do have a post media availability call today, and I think Seattle does as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So that's definitely gonna be some good information as well to get from both sides. I value those the most. And then for football, we got the preseason for the Ravens and the Commanders. It's a good weekend for football to get in there. Yes, and now get caught up on these episodes on Anchor that will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Again, please check me out on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Also, you can follow me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Big Nate Sports Talk. Please leave a review. It helps me. It helps the podcast grow. I've also left a link of Brendan's channel in the description, his Twitter page. Brenden, let the people know what else you got coming down the pipe on your side of the world.
Yeah, for sure. We got an article dropping out tomorrow. That'll be fun. It's a Washington Seattle preview. It's basically what we've been talking about today, and it's basically that, but put into words with no voice, pretty much. But yeah, we got a lot of cool content, and with the company I work for and the people I've talked to, I've said as long as the Storm are winning and in the playoffs, I will be writing for them. So
nice.
This is going to be really fun. So
awesome. I will definitely be looking out for that article, because I am myself am learning to be a better writer myself. I am not on your level yet, but I will be there soon. I am proclaiming that. But
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. But closing message, just again, ladies and gentlemen, just be great, be kind, show love and support to one another. Don't forget to check on friends, loved ones, and also to make sure you take care of yourself. Yourself always comes first. Make sure you're taking care of your mental needs, your physical needs, your spiritual needs. Make sure you take care of yourself. And when you take care of yourself, good things are bound to happen for you. So that's my closing message for this episode. But until then, it's your boy Nathan Snell, alongside with me, the guy right here, Mr. Brenden Potts, writer for the Seattle Storm, future reporter, doing big things. Continue the good work, sir. Let's definitely link up after game one. Also, too, even after the series, let's link up and we have some good commentary. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys if they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.